Welcome to Dreams Made Possible, where we cultivate personal mastery, self worth, and leadership in others. Today's message is very simple: make lifelong learning an integral part of your life. You have to become a student of your life so that you can have the edge in whatever that you do, but also upgrade your life to be able to cope with the challenges of the modern life. It is our aim to ensure that we help you on this journey to become the greatest version of yourself. And if you are really serious about your life, we have created multiple videos that are going to assist you in your learning journey. So click on the link below and subscribe so that we can continue to grow this community of people that are concerned about cultivating each other to becoming the great version of ourselves. Before we get into the subject, let me thank you for taking your time to invest energy and effort in going through our videos, because with your support, we continue to grow and become the best version of ourselves. Please be aware that there is no one single path to learning. There are multiple paths that we can explore to become our greatest version of ourselves. Firstly, appreciate the opportunities that are presented to you in a structured and organized way of learning that will lead to a formal recognition through a qualification in whatever function or discipline that you are pursuing. Secondly, do not underestimate informal experiences that are put through to you to be able to continue to upgrade yourself, to complement your knowledge and skills, maybe through a certification or a diploma, whatever form of education structure that you have in this country and in other countries. And the third way in which we learn, which is the non-formal learning. These are experiences that life puts to us. I usually call it the University of Hard Knocks, where life puts challenges to you. But through these challenges, we learn more about ourselves. We learn more about how we relate to others. We learn more about how we approach life in general. And all of these experiences, as they come together, whether formal, informal, or non-formal, they come together to shape who we are, and they advance us personally as well as advancing us in professional way. So I want to repeat it. There is no single form of learning. And again, having said that, there is no one formal way of learning. And it does not also take dependence on one form of learning. You always have got to make sure that you touch all of these ways of learning to create one solid way of learning, because all the experiences, all the lessons that you get from one form of learning and the others that you get in another form of learning, they combine to create the best version of yourself. Before we get into the benefits of lifelong learning, let's look at a few things that I would like to challenge you and say they should be the principles that you adopt for you to become the best student in life. The first one is learning is intentional. You've got to be intentional about learning. And what is being intentional about learning is to learn towards a particular purpose. What is the purpose why you're learning? Because learning does not happen in a vacuum. You've got to have a reason why you learn, because that why of learning, the purpose for you to learn, is the thing that is going to propel you, that is going to motivate you, that is going to wake you up in the morning when you are tired to say, I don't want to learn. But that purpose as to why you want to learn is very, very important. And that is the energy that is going to carry you through when your chips are down, when it feels like you don't want to do the learning. The second point that I would like you to think about is commitment. You need to be committed to learning. And when I speak about commitment here, I'm talking about you being deliberate about engaging in the art of learning. Be deliberate. And that's where commitment is going to come up. When you are not deliberate, when you are not committed to learning will end up being a burden. And let me tell you, there is nothing that advances your life that is a burden. So there is no way that you can look at learning and say it's a burden, unless if you don't believe that learning is an integral part of what you need to do to continue to be better. You rather convince me differently, that there are other ways to become better except learning. I don't think there is any other way to become the best in whatever that you do except through learning. There are a lot of changes in terms of how the world has evolved, and those changes impact how we interpret and view and interact with the world, the decisions that we make, the solutions that we make. So that is why it is important that you look at learning from a cradle to grave approach. It's something that when you start, you are going to do it until you are recalled to be with your Creator again. It's a lifetime commitment. But let me tell you, like I said earlier, it's a lifetime commitment that is not a burden. It is something that is going to advance you, to help all facets of your life so that you can become a better person. I hope you agree with me in terms of these principles that I would like you to look at so that you can become a whole person. And that is you becoming self-aware, you being able to be exceptional in the things that you do, you being able to know, meaning that to learn to know, so that you continuously become a student in learning. And lastly, so that you can live well with others, which lead us to the benefits of learning. Now that we have unpacked these principles, I hope that you are ready for me to unpack the benefits of learning, and this will influence you in the most positive way to make learning an integral part of your life. Let's get into the first benefit, and the first benefit has got to do with you. And once you become a student of yourself, the benefit is that you start to understand your values and you strengthen them from time to time. You start to understand your strength and you solidify them from time to time. You understand your preferences and your biases, because all of these are going to guide the decisions that you make in your life. You understand your triggers, you understand your defense mechanism. So you become a student of yourself. You graduate in understanding who you are. Before you do anything, before you study any subject, you are the subject that you need to study. And your syllabus is never ending. It's a continuous life syllabus that you've got to engage in. But most importantly, it is what this channel is all about. Once you start to understand yourself, you increase your self-worth. You start to have more confidence. You start to build more and more self-esteem. You value yourself, and you start to show up in the most effective way when you start interacting with other people. So that is why it is important that you start with yourself. The second point is that you start to make better decisions and you start to live a meaningful life. You start to have true meaning. You start to have fulfilling life, a satisfying life. And in that way, you open up yourself to abundance. This comes because you are able to weigh options, the pros and cons of life. And once you start to weigh the pros and cons of life, the decisions that you make do not get you in trouble, because you would have weighed every option in this life. You are able to exercise self-restraint. You are able to exercise self-control. And you start thinking of other people that you're living with. And you start to understand that the decision that I make are going to impact other people. And what does that make you to become? You start to become worthwhile to those that you live with. You start to be a positive impact on them. Those are the immediate people that you stay with. But then you also start to become an upright citizen, because the decisions that you made are predicated on broader things to consider before you can arrive at those decisions. You're not just making decisions by default, shotgun type approach to life, because you are able to weigh options. And what creates this for you to be able to make better decisions is because you are well read. You come across different perspectives. You come across different types of people in your learning, in your journey of learning. So that is why the benefit of learning helps you to make the right decisions so that you can live a meaningful life. Let's look at benefit number 3, which is that learning saves you from poverty. Most of our parents would tell us growing up that we were denied opportunities to advance ourselves. Please take every opportunity that is presented to you so that you can have a better life. And there would be another set of elder people that have walked the journey before us who would say, I was given the opportunity, but I decided not to take the opportunity. And as a result, I find myself where I am as far as my life is concerned. I could have been far if I had listened to my parents, or I would have listened to somebody who was guiding me. But today, see the type of job that I'm doing. I am working odd hours. I'm being mistreated where I'm working because I'm not educated. We hear these stories every day. And the sad part is that even today, there are younger people who denied those opportunities, who are going through the same challenges. And one actually spoke to me and said, encourage your children to study, because had I listened, I could not have been where I am. So I'm saying one of the benefits of learning is that it saves you from poverty, in a sense that it gives you better job prospects, where you are able to apply your knowledge and skills. It positions you to be able to maybe run your own business because of those skills that you have, and determine the type of income that you get. And the more you increase your skills, you increase your chances of even earning better. So that is a critical point that I would like you to take home, the fact that learning can save you from poverty. Let's look at point number 4, which is that it facilitates career advancement. When you learn, you get to understand the latest trends. You understand the best ideas that are implemented by other people. You benchmark what they are doing, and you better it, and you start customizing it for the environment where you are. And when you do that, the other people start to recognize you. And when projects come, they start to call your name. Your name starts to be part of those people that are considered to either be part of the projects or to lead those projects. And once you start being part of those projects and you deliver them well, then chances of being promoted, being given bigger responsibilities become more and more. And in that way, you become a better person. Within your work environment, within your industry, people start to recognize who you are. And this also starts to increase your chances of being headhunted by other people, because they know that you are a specialist or you are an authority in that particular subject. And in that way, you start to advance your career to greater heights. So those are the benefits of learning. Why wouldn't you want to advance your career? Because that is the best thing that is going to make your life better. Benefit number 5, you become a global citizen. When I say you become a global citizen, I mean it. You become a global citizen in a sense that you are able to get an opportunity to be an expatriate and go to work for your company in another country, where you maybe stay 2 years or 3 years, where you learn, and then after your 3 years or so many years expires, you come back into your country, probably into a higher position, and you implement all these learnings that you have learned in another country. Or you might still be in your own country and you frequently visit other countries where your company operates, to go be part of projects, to go to lead teams in those countries. What does that do to you? It helps you to learn about other cultures. It helps you to broaden your network of people that you now know, because companies and institutions, they put at the center stage people who understand other cultures, because we are building diversity and inclusion in these companies. So you become a person that is able to work with people of different nationalities, of different life perspectives. And what does that do to you? You become a better person, because you now start to realize that your worldview is not the only worldview that exists out there. There are so many worldviews that are going to make you a better person. But if you don't learn, you do not get the opportunities to even go beyond your street or beyond your town. But by learning, you are able to make the world even smaller and smaller by getting those opportunities where you go into those worlds and come back. Most of the speakers are invited into different countries to go and speak on relevant and recent topics where they are sharing best ideas that other people are doing. They could not be able to do that if they did not learn, or if learning is not part of an integral part of their lives. So consider learning so that you can also become a global citizen. Let's look at the last benefit. It bolsters your independence and it just improves your quality of life. When you look at people who are not learning, they are dependent on other people, and it could be dependence on a financial level. It could be that they are not literate, they are not numerate, they are not even able to read for themselves. This reminds me of the olden days in where some of the parents were not able to read, and they would have a child going to school reading their letters coming from their husbands who were based in the mines in Joburg. Now these young kids would then be exposed to the secrets that only parents should know, because unfortunately the parent could not read. But even in these days, you still come across people who are not literate in terms of using things like automatic teller machines, and now they've got to ask other people to help them draw money. So this is a sad part, because you let people into a space where they were not supposed to. But once you learn, you start to be independent and you start to do these things for yourself. You've got a better understanding of how things are operating within your own surroundings. Then in that way, you are able to make the right decisions for yourself that are going to impact your health, that are going to impact your family, that are going to impact your finances. If you meet unscrupulous people, they can even take advantage of you because you don't know, especially when it comes to issues around finances. How then do you start to grow your money if you are not financially literate, if you do not read the latest trends in finances? So that's what I'm saying. This is one of the most important benefits that you need to consider, because learning helps you to bolster your independence so that you can have a better quality of life. When it comes to the decisions that you have to make about your health, you are able to make those decisions because you are a learner in that particular field. You are able to make better financial decisions because you are a student in that particular field. And I'm not saying you are going to be a specialist in all these facets of life, but understanding the breadth of these areas helps improve your level of independence and the quality of life at the end of the day. So these are the 6 benefits that I would like you to look at so that you can improve your life. And I would just like to recap these benefits for you. It starts with you becoming a student of yourself, the ability to make better decisions for a meaningful life. It saves you from poverty. It facilitates career advancement. You become a global citizen, but most importantly, it bolsters your independence and improves the quality of your life. Really, I don't know what more do we want out of this life. We must learn from cradle to grave. There is no way that you will become relevant in the next 10 years if you don't do things differently. If you don't change your situation now, learning is not a burden. Learning is something that actually improves our lives. And like I said at the beginning, how can something that improves your life become a burden? Now, having shared with you all these 6 elements, I would just like to suggest just one simple thing that you can apply immediately for you to be able to have a better life and integrate lifelong learning in your life. Just look around you. Who is the person that have walked the journey before you? A person that is above you in terms of your position at work. A person that has implemented a few businesses. Take this person as a mentor. Take this person as a coach and learn from them. But in the same breath, look at number 2. Look at your colleagues and peers, people that you can soundboard with, share ideas with, and you learn together on this journey. But then look at the person that is coming behind you, somebody that is still learning. Because once you adopt this person and you teach them ways of becoming successful, then you become a better teacher yourself. Join us as we unpack these things in the next videos and as we develop our quest to become greatest versions of ourselves. Until the next video, I thank you.